While sometimes for some of the movies in Africa, you don't even have a copy of those movies.
Okay, that's a huge problem that we're looking at. Are there any solutions? Are
And
we seeing any movement on handing those rights over to Africans so that they can see these films more often in Africa?
I think the conversation is just starting to get some attention because so far the attention has been directed to artwork, but at least now we're starting this conversation and it needs to be done. Also, universities bear a responsibility in that. I'm talking about Western universities. I'm more familiar with American universities. You have a new phenomenon, or at least relatively new, that people don't talk about, which is more of a papers of, because so far we're talking about films, but now what I'm alluding to is some of the estate by directors that are being sold to American universities. I'm talking about the screenplays, official correspondence of directors, the programming, everything. And that it's a loss in terms of a critical knowledge around cinema that Africans are losing.
This is part of a much wider conversation, finally, though, isn't it? You talked about art there. We've seen it recently, haven't we, with demands for African art to be returned to Africa. We've got it here in cinema. We've got it in photography as well. Why is the process of change so slow?
Those who own the rights simply claim that they cannot return it because they're the legal owners of those works.
But how do you make them return it then? Because that is the fundamental question here, isn't it? Who will make them return it?
More activism in the grassroots level in Africa, but also for the African presidents to basically, make it known to their European counterparts that this is about moral issue. This is an issue about history. For young Africans to be able to have access to part of their history so that they can form their own identity and be able to engage with the world. So this one goes beyond legal issue. It goes into memory. It goes into history. And that